the manner in which the American press is covering the Panama Canal issue, Donald Trump's threat to take the canal, is a dereliction of duty. I want you to just get a simple example of the type of coverage and the narrative that's being used. I mean, and this is not just to blame MSNBC or any particular one in particularly. The problem is the poor narrative and looking at the full picture of what this convicted felon president is doing. Listen to this coverage. It seems pleasant enough. It seems straightforward enough, but it's all wrong. Check this out.
Just this morning at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, here's what the president of Panama said when he was asked about Trump's threats to take the canal by force.
Mr. President, are you worried about an American invasion? Have you congratulated Mr. Trump yet?
Be serious, be serious.
Would you like to congratulate Mr. Trump?
I already did when he won.
Let's bring in Eugene Daniels, White House correspondent for Politico and an MSNBC political contributor. This is where we are now, Eugene. But look, Panama's president said, be serious, right? So there are a lot of people who are asking, is Trump serious? Is the Panama Canal a hill he's willing to die on? How serious is he?
I think what he's serious about is the concept of kind of America expanding and the idea of America becoming, bigger in a way that really the country hasn't done in a very long time. I also think it's more of a show of strength, right? He wants folks to see this country as one that has the capability of expanding to other countries that folks are taking over the Panama Canal, which is not as easy, is not easy. It's easier said than done, right? That's at the top of the list. But I do think this is one of those things that if you know Donald Trump, as we all do, when he kind of gets obsessed with something, it keeps coming up and it keeps coming back. And he has talked to his aides about what that would actually look like, both for Greenland and for the Panama Canal. And it's not something that other presidents have never talked about, right? George W. Bush talked about the Panama Canal, for example. That's something that has been a part of the conversation. I think because of the way that Donald Trump does it, people seem to want to think that it's a joke. It's hard to know, what's going on in Donald Trump's head. And if he was serious when he said he's not ruling out kind of any military or economic powers to take over these areas and these places. But he is serious about the expansion of the country in some kind of way, because he knows that it speaks to his base.
Now, this issue with Panama just came out of the blue, right? To many, that's how it came out of the blue. Now, what the reporter is attempting to say is, hey, well, Bush spoke about the Panama Canal and the issues with the Panama Canal before. And Bush spoke about it because, again, they felt that maybe other countries were coming into Panama and taking more, not control, but being too cozy with the Panamanians and the canal. So, yeah, it is expected that Bush and others would have spoken about it that way. But none of them have ever said, we are going to come over and territorially take over the canal. Again, there are treaties involved here. And to get that treaty signed, Panama had to sign a little poison amendment to that treaty, where they said, well, the United States will get the right to come in if for some reason the canal neutrality is not urged. I mean, it's something to that nature. And that is what Trump believes he can win over in threatening Panama. But here's the reality. What most of these reporters aren't covering is that just like this thug, our president, has been convicted in America of tax evasion, not paying his taxes. It's the same thing he is being accused of in Panama since 2019 and is still in front of the courts. What this man is trying to do is use the power, the integrity of the United States to go after Panama and threaten the canal with the expectation that Panama will say, okay, we give Trump, you don't have to worry about tax evasion. Your Trump towers and all this stuff out here, that you are labeling, that you are using your name for, we'll go easy on you. We won't discuss the drug dealings that occur in your buildings anymore. We won't discuss the tax evasion anymore. None of this is making our media. So if for some reason Donald Trump goes into Panama and starts to talk about, well, it's because of how much you're charging our ships to go through, even though the only American ships that go through are military ships, because all the other ships are flagged elsewhere. The only ships that go through that pays from America is the ships that go through from our military, which goes through at a huge discount. He will convince Americans, if the media doesn't do its job, that it's a righteous effort, when it's just a personal vendetta to bribe the country into dropping the case against his businesses. Folks, why aren't you hearing that? And if you hear that, then there would be much more pushback when this thug in chief who evades taxes in the United States and tries to evade taxes everywhere else would get a chance to come. They would get a chance to think straightly. Are we using the power of the United States government to really go attack another country? Folks, wake up. This guy killed a whole lot of folks with his mismanagement of COVID for personal gain. Do you think he cares about killing Panamanians for personal gain and harming our reputation for personal gain? Wake up, folks. Yeah. Be woke.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.